Buonasera, buonasera. C'è una cosa che manca. Torno subito. Ok, adesso ci siamo tutti. Come state? Come state? Spero che voi stiate tutti bene. Vi ricordo che cosa? Vi ricordo chi è che c'è online in questo momento. C'è Constantine insieme a Witchwindy con Hunt Showdown, Kate con Identity 5, Mengabo Live con Terraria, Vertien con FIFA 2022, Unicorgi con Invento, Gabriel Domino con Bloodstein, Grandfather Hermit con Dread Hunger, Solo Umido con Daisy e Pokémon con 4 chiacchiere. Molto bene. Guarda cos'è il mio ciuffo, il ciuffo sbarazzino che ho. Basta. Vi ricordo come sempre punto esclamativo Dona. Comunque ve lo ricorda anche la cosa che c'è di qua. Se cliccate, se scrivete punto esclamativo Dona, uscirà fuori il link appunto per accedere al fattore di donazione a favore dell'Ucraina, per la popolazione ucraina utilizzando Emergency. Che cosa d'altro? D'altro? Niente. Iniziamo a giocare. Quindi così, quindi così, quindi questo, giusto? Houston? Attenzione, l'audio può essere relativamente alto. Ok, carica partita. Dove eravamo rimasti? Qua. 2022 04 16. Sì. E abbiamo iniziato a dicembre questo gioco. Dovremmo pur finirlo. Oh, non riesco a vincere una volta. Vabbè. Ok, qua cosa c'è? La stanza ancora... Ah no, le cucine. C'è la signora, c'è una signorina. Qua ci sono già entrato. Però qua non c'è più il porta chiaro. Uncino. Quanto l'ha in alto l'uncino? Ah, questi uncini.
That's for hanging up meat. Or playing pirates.
Giocare ai pirati. Macina.
Coffee grinder is the last thing I'd have expected in an English castle. But it looks really new and unused.
Pentole.
Two little metal pots. Judging by the layer of dust, they're no longer used. No.
Cucchiaini da tè.
A few teaspoons. They're all well polished and lined up in a neat row. A few teaspoons. I'm just gonna take a spoon.
E via a rubare l'argenteria.
Well, the dishes are well looked after, but you can't hide their age. They're becoming faded.
Iniziano a scolorire.
There ain't many dishes for such a big household, but they're probably only used by the ladies. Much too good for the servants.
Dipinti.
Can't really make out anymore what this picture's supposed to be. Perhaps it's not such a good idea to hang pictures directly above the stove. A kitchen
Cucina.
range that could really only be found in furniture catalogs of the last century.
Stivali di gomma.
A pair of old rubber boots. They're as clean as when they were made, though. Perhaps they belong to Lewis.
Va bene. Parliamo con Sally.
Hello.
Oh, hello. A living soul, here?
My name is Falk, Inspector Falk. I'm a policeman.
A copper? How exciting. I'm Sally.
Do you know this woman?
Never seen her before. Looks a bit like a snob.
I don't suppose there are pictures of all the cooks who have worked here by any chance.
No idea. Must be ages ago, though, since there was an actual cook here.
Ah,
Ask Bates, he knows everything.
I'd prefer not to ask either him or Lady Victoria.
Then I don't know either.
You and Bates, look after everything here?
Well, looking after. Bates does most of that. He lets me do all the dirty work, cleaning,
Pulire,
cooking,
cucinare,
and all
così,
that
questo
sort of thing.
Ah.
Isn't that your job?
That's what he says all the time. But being honest, I'd expected something quite different, you know? I mean, a castle with such knobs living in it. You'd expect the odd soiree every now and again.
Or, cute prince?
Well, Charles is off the market now. But anyone under 80 would do this place a world of good. Sometimes it really does
beh.
seem like a grave here.
ah, cacciatrici di dote. Quasi.
What can you tell me
Che
about
di
Lewis?
bell'uomo.
A disgusting man. Ugh. I was hoping when I started he wouldn't be a snob like all the others are here. But he's just as boring and in a permanent bad mood. I never get more than 3 words out of him.
Ok.
Is Lady Victoria a good boss?
I don't know. Bates hardly lets me talk to her. When I first came here, I made her ladyship a few suggestions on how she might want to redecorate the castle a bit. Just get rid of a bit of the mustiness, you know? Since then, I always have to ask Bates if I want something from her ladyship.
Addirittura.
What's wrong with Lady Eleanor?
What could be wrong with her? Snore. Sits around all day either knitting or reading.
Anything else?
She plays piano for Lady Victoria every now and again. In this house, that counts as having a wild party. You know, it's about time I got myself another position.
You want to leave?
Yeah, sooner rather than later. Maybe to a
Magari posso trovare
movie or a
lavoro.
pop star's house. Somewhere
Cinema
where
del
things are a
pop.
bit lively at least.
Can you tell me anything about Samuel's ghost? Apparently it's been seen by a few tourists.
Oh yeah, I've seen it too. Out one of the windows. It scared the living daylights out of me. A gruesome face. I hope I'll never see it again.
Addirittura.
That's true. At which window?
I don't remember exactly. I think it was in the Forbidden Wing.
Dalla
Forbidden Wing.
proibita.
Yeah, you know, what's behind the locked door in the hall.
Okay. I won't keep you from your work any longer.
Ah, don't worry about it.
Vaso. Vediamo un po' se nel vaso ci sono le chiavi.
An empty vase. It looks old, like everything here.
No.
The door is bolted. Might lead to a storeroom or a cellar.
Eh sì, so anche che cantini. Però niente da fare. Ma intanto voi non vedete nulla. Me ne sono accorto adesso. Ok, si sente ma non si vede. È bloccato tutto qua. Gioco? Non si sta facendo vivo il gioco. Bene. È qua sotto ma non si vede. No, niente da fare. Tocca riavviarlo da capo. Bene. Come se non fosse successo niente. Quindi dobbiamo rifare tutto. Benissimo. Beh, andrò molto veloce. Qui eravamo nella casa già Black Mirror e dobbiamo fare tutto.
Two little metal pots. A few teaspoons. I'm just gonna take a... Well, there ain't many. A kitchen. Perhaps? No. A coffee grinder, but it looks really new. Or playing pirates. The door is bolted. Oh, excellent. An empty vessel. A pair of old...
Ok. Andiamo tasselli e risentirete
Hello.
o rileggerete
I live
tutto.
My name is
Oh,
Falk.
copper.
Do you know this? I
No,
don't.
ask Babe. Then I don't know.
You and
Well,
isn't that?
that's what. But be you'd expect the
All
old,
right.
well, child.
What can you tell me
I
about?
but he's just.
Is Lady
I
Victoria?
don't know. When I first came since then,
Comunque cose
Lots of good
abbastanza
Anything
empty
else?
place, you know?
You want
tranquille,
Yes,
come
soon.
conversazione quasi inutile
Oh,
se non
yeah,
dice che
it's
è
scary.
nell'area
That's
I don't
brutta.
remember.
forbidden.
Yeah, you
Okay.
know. Don't worry.
Ok. Andiamo verso il giardino. No, siamo andati direttamente di Dio. Qui il pozzo l'avranno mai chiuso poi. C'è un corpo.
An ancient well. I can't imagine that it's still in use. Even this place must have a normal water supply by now. There used to be some sort of device. There's nothing about the well. Apparently, these things ought to, if you were to guide your... Judging by its condition,
Fango.
the floor here is rain-sodden and very... The floor here is rain... And now the boots look like boots should. Dirty.
Ok.
Lewis toolbox. Huh.
Un martello.
I don't need any more. The best of British technology. An old wooden...
Ci siamo intascati una scala. Com'è possibile?
That's probably the Gordon's family coat of arms. I don't know anything about heraldry. There are complicated rules about creating and reading coats of arms. It probably means something like, we are a very old family, but unfortunately also quite insane. Please keep your distance.
Giustamente.
The gate must have been replaced a short time ago. The wood still looks new. But I don't think there's anything suspicious about that. An old wooden staircase. Probably leads to the stableman's room. I don't want to go up there. Doesn't look very sturdy. I don't want to go up there. I don't want to go up there.
Un'auto nera.
Huh. Ralph was talking about a shiny black car. Is this the one he saw? But who drove from the castle to the crime scene this morning? What were they doing there? Hey, Lewis.
You again? I thought you'd been thrown out.
Lady Victoria gave me permission to have a look around the castle and the gardens.
How nice of her. What do you want?
What can you tell me about the castle?
Nothing. A big, ugly building.
With an overgrown garden.
What have I got to do with that?
Aren't you the gardener?
My garden's a few hundred miles west of here.
In Wales.
That's right.
Ah,
So you just do the bare minimum here, if at all.
The garden's too big for one man alone, and what's the point in looking after it? This whole place is doomed. The house is falling
addirittura.
apart. The lady won't live for much longer, and Bates is as good as dead.
You're hoping that Lady Eleanor will return to Wales when Lady Victoria dies.
Perhaps.
That's a nice car.
Certainly is. The only decent surprise here. I discovered it behind the stables. built it back up from scratch. My father used to work on a car like this, and he taught me quite a bit.
Do you sometimes take it out for a spin? To the coast, for example?
I drive the ladies. They used to still have bloody horses in the stable, but looking after them was too much effort for the old folks. Now, this is the only pair of wheels. But the ladies don't leave the house much at all. Bates usually walks to the village. He says it's good for his health. But every time it takes a bit longer.
Eh beh,
You weren't at the
necessariamente.
coast with the car this morning.
No.
What can you tell me about Lady Eleanor?
If you want to know something about Lady Eleanor, then you better ask Lady Eleanor.
Mm,
She's her own favorite subject.
You mean
Giustamente.
she's egotistical?
She threw everything away and fled here in a mad rush after Sir Richard died. Who does such a thing?
The castle and the garden in Wales reminded her of her dead husband.
And she should have thought of the family history. You don't just give up an house where generations have lived and worked.
How did her husband die?
He blew himself up, did all kinds of strange experiments. In the last years, he became obsessed with uncovering the secret of what drove Sir William and his sons insane. He hardly left his lab anymore, and collapsed in exhaustion more than once. Her ladyship was very worried.
Soldi?
Bates seems to be very tired.
He's terminally ill. The doctors say it's a miracle he's still alive.
Come?
But let me tell you, Bates will kick the bucket on the very same day that Lady Victoria dies. Like a dog that follows its master. I think he just finds it unfitting to die before his mistress.
He says he's worked for the Gordons for more than 70 years and that he knows all their secrets.
I'd believe that at the drop of a hat. No one knows the castle and garden better than him. But when it gets to his own bonds, he's getting forgetful. The loyal soul. That's why they've given him Sally, I think.
Eh beh,
I met Sally.
The only one in the castle who's not at least 100 and starting to decay.
Is she a good housekeeper?
She's lousy.
She often seems
Addirittura.
to be in trouble with Bates because of that.
He's the one that chose her, and turned away much better candidates.
Why did he do that?
Yeah, if you're worried about being replaced.
Then you chose the worst possible replacement to stay indispensable yourself.
That's how it is.
esattamente.
Lewis, do you believe in ghosts? Some tourists claim they've seen some here.
Oh, yeah, the reputed ghost. They besieged us for weeks on end after Murray planted that rumor. A whole pack of them completely trashed the garden.
Well, see you later.
Not if I see you first.
L'ho capita.
I don't even know about American cars of the last 10 years. My knowledge of English cars from the first half of the century is absolutely zilch. The floor here is rain-sodden and very muddy. He doesn't like that at all. I gotta be careful. Ravens have got hard beaks that are as sharp as knives. They can really make a mess of you.
No, aspetta, adesso ci muoio.
Ow!
Non ci sono morto, fortunatamente.
The critter starts pecking at my fingers as soon as I get near the nest. As long as the bird's in the nest, I've got no chance.
Salva.
I'm sure the raven would love this shiny spoon, but if I just put it down somewhere, he'll get it and fly straight back to the nest. I wouldn't have enough time to get the piece of mosaic, and I'm sure he's not gonna give it to me in gratitude for the spoon. I knotted the spoon to the thread. You're not gonna free that in a hurry. Let's try it. Look at this! A shiny spoon!
È un corvo, non è una ganza. Però vabbè. Non dovrebbe funzionare così. Inizia a piovere.
Excellent. Angelina's mosaic piece. A piece of mosaic for a spoon. A good deal for me.
Ok, dovrebbero essere 4 le tessere.
Original I could ring for tea time. That would get the ladies out of the hall and leave me to have a good go at the stone slab by the globe. Huh. A large double-winged door. It's no different from the others.
Non c'è più una signora.
It's locked. You've only been living here a few years, Lady Eleanor?
That's right. I didn't want to live alone in a big house after my husband died.
So you moved in with your relatives in Willow Creek and brought Lewis with you?
Lewis was our gardener in Wales. He is sometimes a bit difficult, but I didn't have the heart to lay him off. I offered him to come with me and look after the garden here.
Which he doesn't seem to do.
Well, he didn't cope very well with having to leave his garden and his home in Wales.
What's behind the closed door over there?
There was a terrible fire here 24 years ago. Samuel's wife, Catherine, lost her life.
Ah,
That wing has been closed off since then. Too many memories, I think.
Did the fire start on the ground floor?
No, on the first floor. The ground floor was mostly spared as far as I know. But even the rooms below those destroyed in the fire remain closed. Bates and Victoria make sure that no one goes into them.
I see. Was anyone else injured or killed?
One of the cooks was injured, as far as I know. She wanted to help and was badly burned.
interessante.
Tell me about your estate in Wales.
It's a lovely castle. Not as big or old as this one. I haven't been back since we left. I'm afraid it's probably in a terrible condition. And the marsh has probably spread even further. It's terrible. I couldn't stomach seeing our home like that. We had many happy years there.
When did your husband die?
A few years ago, Sir Richard, my husband, was a scientist. He did his experiments in a summer house. I used to joke that he would blow himself up one day. I didn't really believe that that's exactly what would happen.
Ebbe,
I'm willing to bet that I was imprisoned in Lady Eleanor's castle. It all fits together perfectly. And the phone call would suggest that it wasn't chosen at random. Did she make her old estate available for the order to use? Lewis is here of his own free will. I don't understand why he doesn't give this new life a go.
You are young, Mr. Fulton. You don't know what it's like having to leave your home behind you. Lewis's roots are in Wales. A tree withers without roots.
Why doesn't he go back then?
I've suggested it to him. I promised him a small amount of money to start him off. First, I thought he would do it. But then he stayed after all.
Strange.
He's a complicated man. He's been working for me for over 20 years, but I still don't have the feeling that I actually know him. I think he blames me for his unhappiness. He only ever speaks to me if it can't be avoided, and I can see that hate in his eyes.
addirittura.
What kind of research was Sir Richard doing?
He had very diverse interests. After the tragedy 12 years ago, he was mainly concerned with, well, with blood.
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 He was convinced that the Gordons' blood must somehow be different from that of other people. I think he was looking for a scientific explanation for all of the misery that has accompanied the family for hundreds of years.
A curse in a test tube.
Insanity is hereditary, as you may know. Why not misfortune?
Or the misfortune is only the result of the hallucination. That explains what Angelina was looking for in Wales. She was hoping that Richard had found out something interesting before he died. I'm going to have another look around. Goodbye, Lady Eleanor.
It's nice to see another face in this house.
Ok. Possiamo salire? Quadri? Un bel dipinto. O almeno è raffigurato bene.
So much for the nakedness in England. 4 naked girls at once here. And the chap they're all entertaining really seems to be enjoying it. So much for the nakedness in England. 4 naked girls. So much for the naked. An old-fashioned telephone. Who should I call? An antique vase and carafe. I'll leave that where it is. An old-fashioned. It's locked.
Un bagno? Non ero mai andato.
Pile of towels. Small ones, big ones,
Sento re.
nothing but towels.
L'ho visto! Bravo, Mommy. Aspetta un attimo. Torno subito, col gatto che miagola.
Pile of towels. Small ones, big ones. I wonder what was going on with that mirror down there in the hall. I really thought I saw Samuel Gordon. I'll probably collapse of exhaustion when this is all over. I look tired.
No.
That is so comfortable. A bench in a bathroom. Jeez.
Non tutti.
What an effort it must take to keep this old tiled floor so clean. I can imagine Bates checking twice a day to see if any dirt accumulates in the nooks and crannies in the meantime. The floor is more than clean. No grounds for complaint. What a mess. chandelier in a bathroom. Madness. Curtains in the bathroom. Oh, well, to each their own. Lots of roofs, alcoves, walls. I wonder how many rooms the castle has. You could easily hide Mom's little house in one of the wings. An old-fashioned bathtub. Doesn't look uncomfortable, but it would be too small for me. I can't see anything unusual, apart from the fact that the plug is missing. That might make it difficult to have a bath.
Lo tappiamo col martello.
Powder, makeup, and so on. Nothing of any use to me. A lion's head. I can't see anything unusual. A tap, like any other you might have found in this country 50 years ago. It's running. I can't see anything. A pile of towels.
Non ne ha preso nessuno.
It used to be clean. It used to be clean. The door is locked. I can't make out from here whether they're real gas lamps or electric lamps made to look old. Anywhere else, I'd be absolutely certain that there wouldn't be real gas lamps hanging from the ceiling. Not
qui,
here.
non da noi. Dobbiamo ancora far suonare le 5.
Lady Victoria's on the phone. Let's see.
Young man, it's not befitting, even for a policeman, to eavesdrop behind closed doors.
I didn't mean to. Pardon me. Were they talking about me? But why should Lady Victoria, of all people, cooperate with the Order? She's got more of a reason than anyone else to want to put an end to the curse. My room key. Looks more like the key.
Come all'esterno.
The guy who built this castle had weird taste. The view would be great from up there. The tower seems to have windows on every side. Perhaps it used to be a defense tower and was later converted. Maybe it just looked like that from the beginning.
Tra le scuderie, pianta arrampicante. Sarà abbastanza arrampicabile?
Looks as if the ivy has killed the tree, now attacking the house. Quite convenient for a burglar. But as long as I'm allowed to roam freely, I'm not gonna start climbing around on the facade.
No.
The castle looks really lit from here. There's light coming from many of the windows.
Andiamo verso il giardino.
That way leads deeper into the garden. It's all overgrown and fallen apart. I'd be better off staying away. I don't think I'm... I can't see anything. The stone figurine is...
Pago tutto. Niente da fare.
There's nothing about the well that interests me. There's nothing about the well that interests me. Huh. I could...
Come?
Don't touch! Please excuse me, but this teapot is very old, and Bates has told me many times that I must look after it carefully. He's just popped down to the village to get some tea. We've run out.
There's no more tea? I didn't even think that'd be possible in an English castle.
Bates said that the tea had gone bad. He got rid of it.
Huh. Boy, he needed an excuse to go to the village.
Ok. Quindi tecnicamente su è libero.
Damn, I can't get it open. The lock is probably so old that it'd be easier to crack with a bent nail.
Mm.
I can't see anything unusual.
La signora è tornata.
A little side table with a tea service on it. A little side table. old-fashioned telephone.
E neanche la visuale di telecamera.
That's the Gordon's family tree. Almost the same. That's the Gordon's...
Guardiamo quelle persone. Qui c'è l'ultima cena.
Victoria, would you please tell me what's behind the locked door?
Only an unused wing of the house.
Could I have a quick look in there?
No, unfortunately not. The wing is in danger of collapsing, and that's why it's closed off. For your own sake, keep well away from that wing.
Absolutely. Your domestic help, this Sally...
Ah, have you already met her?
She doesn't really seem to fit in here.
With us old people, do you mean?
She seems to be the exact opposite of Bates.
That's a sharp observation. She embodies everything which is the opposite of Bates.
Ma ha anche dei difetti.
Untidy, unreliable. She gossips.
Perhaps he wanted to demonstrate to you what you have in him.
I know exactly what I have in him. But I also know he's not well. He can no longer care for the house and us old ladies all on his own. I will look for the next domestic help. And it will be someone rather more industrious. Someone who will rarely take the load off Bates.
I'll go and take a bit of a look around.
Of course.
I don't have anything to ask her at the moment.
Proviamo ad andare fuori dal castello.
There are no answers to my questions. Certain there's a secret compartment hidden behind the stone slab. But how can I get to it? As long as the ladies are sitting... I don't think the ladies would be that happy if I were to use a hammer on the stone slab. You'd hear that through the castle. All the police would be straight on to me.
Okay.
And then things would get really complicated. old-fashioned telephone. An old-fashioned telephone.
Allora dico a lei che c'è sporco di sopra.
Good day, Sally.
Yes?
Lewis seems to take care of his car rather better than the garden.
That's for sure. Ever since I've been here, he's been doing something to it nearly every day. And when he's not fixing it, he's either polishing or driving around in it.
Has he driven it this morning?
This morning?
Ah,
Yeah, he did. I heard him starting it up. You can't help but hear that.
But you didn't see him.
I know exactly what that car sounds like. When he's working on it, he must start it something like 20 times a day.
But you weren't able to see whether or not Lewis or somebody else was driving it.
Lewis is the only one who drives that car.
Okay. Do you know what's behind the locked door in the hall?
I've asked myself that question too, but you can't get a thing out of Bates about it. Once, he got me listening at the door. He gave me such a telling off, like nothing I'd ever known before. He was so mad, he nearly collapsed. He was coughing blood and I had to hold him up. I've been giving the door a wide berth since then.
già.
I've got to find out what's behind that door. The rooms there would be an ideal hiding place for one of the mosaic tiles. Lewis said that Bates selected you for the position, not her ladyship.
Yeah, that's right. There were a few candidates. The cleverest ones made for the exit as soon as they reached the gate. But if I was being honest, I thought that out of those I met, there were a few of them who were better suited to the job than I was. I was a bit surprised when he chose me.
He must have been impressed by your hidden qualities.
Yeah, and so now, all he does is moan about everything. He spends the whole day creeping about after me. Sally, do this, do that, don't do that. Ugh, like being in school.
I noticed that the bathroom floor up there is extremely dirty.
What? Not again.
It looks like boot prints.
I've told Lewis a million times he shouldn't come through the house in his muddy boots. Damn it.
Addirittura.
I better clean
Guarda lì
that up
come
before
corre.
the old git notices it. Otherwise, he'll have me cleaning
Col
it
cibo.
again and again and again.
Sally is distracted. Time to secretly take the teapot to the library. And then I'll try to work out where I can get some tea at short notice. So, the teapot and service are already in place. Now we just need some tea. It'll be dangerous for me in the village. The Order will definitely be looking for me there. But it'd be a good opportunity to see if Bates is trying to alert the Order. I'm gonna have to go back to the village and get some tea. But before I enter the lion's den, I'm gonna take some precautions.
Ok.
It'd be best if I lure the entire Order in the hotel. Then I can walk around the village square in relative peace.
Useremo questo o l'altro?
Then, let's do it. Murray? Hello. Darren Michaels here. Oh, I'll be leaving today. I'll be at the hotel in about half an hour. No, I just wanted to let you know so you can write the bill. Nothing to pay?
Eh già.
Oh, right. I paid in advance. Never mind. Now you know. See you in half an hour, Murray. See you soon.
Para 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 pa.
Okay, so Murray knows. If I'm not completely mistaken, most of the order will be waiting for me at the hotel in half an hour. To the village. Let's go. The order's distracted and Bates is still in Willow Creek. Let's see what he's really up to. I thought so. I hardly believed he was shopping at the library. Damn it, Tom's here again.
Quanto cacato.
So Bates has got something to do with the order. Gotta get closer, but better around the outside.
Gopher.
But you are generously compensated.
Yeah. You know exactly how much I need this bloody compensation.
I will not tolerate that tone of voice. You know.
All right, man. I'll
Salva
go and look
subito.
for her.
Thank you very much.
Interesting. Damn. The museum's locked. Huh. A card, 5 murder locations.
Abbiamo un martello.
I've got to get some tea from the pub before I can. I'm certainly not going to go back to the hotel for the time being.
Abbiamo un crimine.
Damn.
Oh,
How else
ok.
can I get it? How fitting. Cracking Tom's door with his own tool. The same principle as in the hotel.
Mm. Oh. Ok. Quanto complicato.
Damn, the wire snapped. But I've achieved what I wanted to. Mainly English, Scottish, and Irish
Sì, non c'è
specialties.
nient'altro.
Whiskey, gin, and so on. Ah, there's the tea I need. Now, quickly back to the castle.
Entriamo, usciamo. Nessuno se ne accorge del castello
I guess
fatto.
Bates is...
Siamo sempre più bagnati,
Everything's ready. Just need some hot water. I'll just let Sally know. Good day, Sally.
Yes?
Sally, Bates has asked me to tell you that you can announce tea
Con
time
il
today.
passo
Now all
legnoso.
we're missing is the hot water.
Oh, so I'm good enough for that now, am I?
He was rather exhausted after doing the shopping.
No wonder. I don't understand why he simply didn't tell Lewis to go.
Spacchiamo tutto. C'è più. C'è lì.
I do. That's taking it a bit far. I've got to find another quiet way to open the slab. The knife would bend before moving the slab an inch. There's an ornate fence.
Vai di mocio.
Sally put her cleaning things down here. An old metal bucket and a mop. I'll take the mop with me. pile of towels. A pile of towels.
Quindi l'abbiamo già preparato, ma senza...
I'll lay the mop head directly over the plug hole. I'd better not flood the bathroom without a reason. A tap, like any other you might have found in this. I'd better... The floor is sparkling clean again. Sally's done a good job, but she didn't really have a choice considering Bates' standards. So much for the nakedness.
Ci saranno altri strumenti?
There's an ornate fence. I'm almost certain this is... That's taken it. I don't see what old lady... The castle is very beautiful, but, well,
It's slowly falling down, you mean? I'm afraid you're right. And it's not the only thing here that's falling down.
How do you mean that?
The Gordon line. We've lived here in this area for centuries and have shaped it like no one else. Our family is going to die out, Mr. Falk. Soon, there won't be any more Gordons. And the worst thing is, I am no longer even sure that this will be a loss.
You mean because of...
Because of the misery for which some of us are responsible. Yes.
I've just realized that if Angelina's right, then this woman is my grandmother. She doesn't seem to know anything about her grandson. Or maybe she does. Her look was somehow strange. I'll go and take a bit of a look around.
Of course.
I don't have any important questions for her right now. Everything is ready for tea time.
Non sta facendo
That's the
niente.
Gordon's family. That's the Gordon's family. As long as the ladies are drinking tea. She's so busy at the moment. I don't want to disturb her. Hey, Lewis.
What is it now?
Sally says that you were out in the car this morning.
Sally should keep her nose in her gossip magazines where it belongs.
So you didn't go out in the car this morning?
I said that already.
I don't believe him. Which of the old folks could have driven the car without Lewis noticing? Lady Eleanor said she gave you the option of going back home to Wales, and even offered some money to get you set up.
I don't know what that's got to do with you.
I just find it strange. You desperately want to go back, and are even offered some money, too.
And then? Work as a caretaker in a new bloody housing estate? I've offered more than once to look after the castle in Wales and keep it in working order. But apparently there's not enough money for that.
So it's not so much about going back to Wales. It's more about going back to your castle and your garden.
That's right.
What you really want is to turn back time. Unfortunately, that's never been possible. Well, see you later.
Not if I see you first.
The floor here is rain-sodden and very muddy. The floor here is... There's nothing about the well. There's nothing about the... There's an ornate fence or some kind of barrier around the globe. No idea what that's for. There's an ornate fence or some kind of barrier around the globe. No idea what that's for.
Aspetta. Vecchio chiodo, qua c'è un vecchio chiodo.
Apparently, and until I have the key for the... The doors. So much for the naked. So much for the naked. An old-fashioned telephone. An old-fashioned...
Ma va a bagno. È indicato però.
Insanity is hereditary.
Quanto grosso!
What's wrong with me? Samuel had a book in his... The apparition... It won't move at all. Whoa! There's a cavity behind it. A handwritten page from a book. It looks like it's from William Gordon's diary, with additions from his grandson, Samuel. As far as I know, they both fell from one of the castle towers.
Ok,
Now,
1, 2,
did
3.
Samuel rip out the page and hide it first? But then, why? There are lots of little pyramids or triangles scribbled on the page in a circle. 3 of them have been crossed out. Now, I've seen these triangles somewhere before. A pile of towels. I'll never be able to look in the mirror. I'll never be able to look. They seem to be the same pyramids that are in Samuel's diary. Let's see. You can push them in.
Ah, al contrario.
Most of the rib though.
Che palle però. Una chiave? Ah, un pezzo.
Yes, finished. But nothing's happening. I knew it. A secret compartment. And inside there is... a second piece of mosaic.
What are you doing there, sir?
I was just looking at this space here. Unusual, isn't it?
Indeed it is. There was always a stone slab there before.
Perhaps someone removed it.
I will ask Sally about that.
That was close.
Lady Victoria, I've just returned from the village and I thought you might like to know.
Very good, Bates. Take a break for half an hour. No debate now.
She's so busy at the moment. I don't want to...
Chiediamo anche a lui.
So much for the naked. Mr. Bates?
Yes?
I've noticed a huge locked door on the ground floor.
I'd keep away from that, sir.
Why?
There was fire in the rooms through there some years ago. The damage was never properly repaired. The walls have been ruined by rainwater, and the
That's okay.
beams have been rotting for 20 years or more. I think you'd risk your life going into that wing of the house.
Lady Victoria.
Yes, sir?
She seems to me to be rather bitter.
She is a dignified old lady who has to bear a greater burden than I
Okay.
would wish for her.
The death of her husband and her 2 sons, the murders, the castle's decline, the end of the family line.
You said it, sir.
What can you tell me about Lady Eleanor?
If you want to know something, why don't you ask her yourself?
I'd like to hear your opinion. Why do you think she brought Lewis here with her, after her husband's death?
And what do you mean by that, sir? Really now? I ask you, sir. Lady Eleanor is a lady, and she treats her servants accordingly. Lewis would have been unable to get a new position. He's simply too
Ok.
old. We can offer him a
Non mi
form
muoia,
of retirement
durante
here.
l'interrogatorio.
But neither Lewis nor Lady Eleanor give the impression of being happy with the arrangement. You could maybe even believe that she owes him something.
I would be aware of that, and I can tell you that your surmising is incorrect.
Are you not feeling too well, Mr. Bates?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Perhaps you should have a lie down.
I'll have a lie down when I have time to do so. The work won't get done on its own.
Sally could do it.
I doubt that very much.
That must have been quite some fire to destroy the wing like that.
Addirittura.
It was a dreadful tragedy, such as we've already suffered too many times here. It must now be 24 years ago. Master Samuel and his enchanting wife Catherine were just married and had only recently moved into the castle. We were hoping that he would one day take over the castle from his father and give us a son and heir. But then, they had not even been here for 6 months. There was a fire.
Did anyone know how the fire started?
No. Master Samuel lost his wife in the fire, and then vanished for the next 12 years. He'd been deeply wounded by the events.
You don't think too much of Sally?
I don't
Okay.
think too much of her work.
So why do you employ her?
It wasn't my idea. Her ladyship insisted that we should employ relief.
Not a great choice, apparently.
It won't last long. She'll soon have enough and then disappear.
Were there any other victims of the fire? Anyone injured, perhaps?
Our cook at the time was the first to discover the fire and tried to pull young Mrs. Gordon from the flames. She became trapped by the flames and would have burnt to death had she not saved herself by leaping out of a window.
Eh già.
But she injured her back very badly and had to leave us after that. Why are you interested in things which happened here so many years ago?
The young lady at the lighthouse was also burned.
I find the connection rather stretched.
What kind of a man was he, this Samuel Gordon?
Beh,
His father sent him off to boarding school early since he was a very obstinate, wild child. His behavior improved at the school. The teachers described him as an alert, intelligent, and friendly boy. And in the holidays, we found him so too. He got to know Miss Catherine after being at school. A wonderful, good-hearted woman.
oh,
They were married and seemed to have found a perfect happiness.
What do you mean, seemed?
Well, there were some arguments when they lived here.
Was he violent?
To her, I don't really know, but I fear he may have been. Miss Catherine was unhappy, and if there hadn't been some wonderful times every now and again, then she perhaps would have left him. It could have been noticeable to us at that time. The two faces of Samuel Gordon. On the one hand, the loving, caring husband, and on the other, the arrogant and brutish egomaniac. After his wife's death, this nasty side of him seemed to disappear. He never visited us. However, common acquaintances described him as a profoundly sad and broken man.
That is, until he returned and slaughtered some innocent people.
It's terrible. We all wonder ourselves. Perhaps we didn't want to believe that
Dobbiamo
this
assolutamente entrare di
evil
qua.
side of his soul had returned.
I'll catch you later, Bates.
Goodbye, sir.
Però mi sa che ci fermiamo qua per questa sera.
Apparently, and until I have the key for the door, I can't prove otherwise.
Ok. Fine. Vi ringrazio ancora di tutto, vi auguro buona serata, buonanotte e vi lascio la Crostanti. Notte notte, ciao!